Everyone thought Tay-K was finished when he got hit with a 55-year sentence back in 2019, but the story only got crazier from there. Today, we're breaking down why he ended up getting an additional 80 years in prison. In 2019, Tay-K was convicted of murder for killing a man named Ethan Walker in 2016. But before the cops could arrest him, he cut off his ankle monitor and fled to San Antonio, Texas. Instead of laying low, Tay-K dropped his infamous track, The Race, which blew up while he was still on the run. But while he was doing the race for Ethan Walker's murder, Tay-K committed another crime. This time, killing a man named Mark Salivar in San Antonio. Mark was a photographer who was supposed to shoot with Tay-K and his crew. When Mark arrived at a Chick-fil-A to meet them, Tay-K tried to rob him. Mark got out of his car, jumped on the hood, and tried to kick the windshield. That's when Tay-K pulled out a gun and shot him. Eventually, the feds caught Tay-K and arrested him for Ethan Walker's murder. A few months later, he was charged with capital murder for killing Mark Salivar. Capital murder is especially serious. If convicted, it comes with an automatic life sentence without parole. Tay-K was convicted for killing Ethan Walker and sentenced to 55 years. Still, he thought he had a chance to come home. In 2021, he went on Instagram Live with 40,000 people watching. He told fans he'd been writing music while locked up and was hoping to be released on an appeal bond, but that never happened. Before the trial for the Mark Salivar case even started, Tay-K was dealing with major problems behind bars. In 2019, reports came out that Tay-K was trying to start a prison gang called the Rugrats to go to war with a Hispanic gang called Tango Blast. The warden found out and put him in solitary confinement. Reporters even got their hands on a list of the Rugrats rules called the Laws of Power. There were also rumors that Tay-K stabbed a prison guard, though that was never confirmed. Then in February 2023, Tay-K tweeted that someone on his cell block had killed their cellmate with a food tray and stood on his head. Even though he had been in prison for years, Tay-K still had a loyal fan base, and some of them started turning on him, calling him a snitch. Tay-K still claims he just needs one chance to come home. Tay-K was just 16 years old when the murders happened, but the court still decided to try him as an adult. Tay-K later said that if he had been white, the judge would never have sentenced him to 55 years. One of Tay-K's co-defendants in the Ethan Walker case was a white girl who was the same age as him, but she was tried as a juvenile, while Tay-K faced adult charges. Now, it doesn't look like he'll be getting out early for the Ethan Walker case, and after what happened in court recently, he might be done for good. Fans were hoping he'd beat the Mark Salivar case and maybe one day get parole, but here's how he ended up with another 80 years in prison. During the trial for Mark Salivar's murder, Tay-K's own girlfriend, Joanna Reyes, testified against him. She told the court exactly what happened. According to her, Tay-K asked her to help find a photographer. Joanna had seen Mark Salivar's work on Instagram and helped set up a meeting. She was the one driving the car with Tay-K and one of his homies when they picked Mark up. Originally, Mark had to reschedule the shoot, so he asked if they could meet another day. Everyone was cool with it, and he asked to be dropped off at the mall. Joanna agreed, but that's when things went left. Joanna said Tay-K suddenly pulled out a gun and demanded Mark's camera bag. When Mark refused, Tay-K and his homie Jalen Bell started hitting him. Mark jumped out and got on the hood of the car, trying to stop them. That's when Tay-K told Joanna to get him off the car, but she couldn't do anything. So, Tay-K opened the door and shot Mark. After they drove away, Joanna said Jalen gave Tay-K a high five and said, "You caught your first body." Joanna later took a plea deal, 10 years probation, in exchange for testifying against Tay-K. She told the court she didn't go to the police right away because Tay-K threatened to kill her and her family. Her testimony helped lock Tay-K up for another 80 years, but Tay-K's own legal team didn't help much either. While Joanna was on the stand, the judge told the defense they couldn't bring up anything negative about Mark Salivar without clearing. There were reports that Mark had some questionable stuff in his bag that might have made him look bad, and Tay-K's lawyers tried to ask Joanna about it anyway. Because they didn't get permission first, the judge cleared the courtroom and warned the defense not to do it again. The judge later told the jury to ignore everything they heard about Mark's bag. Tay-K's sister, Kayla Beverly, also testified on his behalf. She told the court about the abuse they went through growing up. She said she and Tay-K ended up in foster care when she was 7, and he was 5. Later, they lived with their dad, who would beat them with wooden objects and even tied Tay-K to an ironing board.
Mark was younger than me and he would cry, and just maybe they would think he was overdramatic, so they would tie him down to an ironing board, strap him down, like stuff like that.
Kayla testified after TK was already found guilty, but his lawyer hoped her statement would help reduce his sentence. The judge acknowledged that TK had a rough upbringing, but still said he was responsible for his actions. Kayla told the court that everything started when she and Tay-K had to run away from home. She said their dad used to beat them so badly that they had no choice. That's how Tay-K ended up in the streets, trying to survive on his own.
We had to run away. That's why all this shit happened, because it was not like even good when we came to our dad. You feel me? Like, not even like that. Like, a lot of dudes don't try with their kids and shit. Like, so I give my dad that. I'm not saying he's a terrible dad, but hey, bro, like, life was messed up. Like, we kind of like, it was abuse going on in our home. We had to leave.
Before the Mark Salivar trial even began, Tay-K's lawyers were worried that the jury would bring up his track, The Race. Prosecutors in the Ethan Walker case had already used the song's lyrics and video against him, and his legal team didn't want jurors who were familiar with it. Tay-K had been building a buzz before The Race, but that track made him go viral. Dropping a song while on the run after killing Ethan Walker made headlines everywhere, and it's still one of the wildest moments in rap history. Lil Yachty even remixed the track, which helped it blow up even more. In 2023, he shared a letter Tay-K had sent him from prison. Tay-K still has some support in the industry, but many believe he would have fallen off anyway, even without the murder cases. His first and only project dropped after he was arrested for Ethan Walker's murder, so no one really knows how far he could have gone. Back then, fans were comparing him to artists like YB and Namir fell off without ever facing charges. Tay-K's supporters were holding out hope he'd get parole and return to music. But now, that dream's over. He got lucky that the jury convicted him of regular murder instead of capital murder for killing Mark Salivar, which means he might technically be eligible for parole one day. But even in the best case, Tay-K will still be behind bars for decades before there's any chance of release.